We were having some technical difficulties before the show, and I had to take my headphones off because Lofa and I wouldn't stop talking about the game, and I refused to waste any of it before we got on the show. I'm a man of the people, Lofa. We have to give the people our true opinions. I don't want to waste them before we're recording.
Yeah, but my opinion's not going to change that much. Is yours?
No, it's not going to change. I'm just it's always better, more passionate and better the first time around. I just, I don't want to give people warmed over leftovers, like some leftovers are better out of the fridge, but some aren't.
Any good actor knows the show must go on. So
that's true.
That's now that I've joined the club, I feel like I can deliver whenever I need to.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But but tip though, especially for acting on camera, all they need is the one take. So, you
true.
You don't want to waste it for like 20 takes. You got to save it for that one. You know what I mean?
Like a surprise party. We wasted a good surprise on you.
Hey, speaking of takes, I told you I was going to say something random in the cold open. Producer Katie and I were having this conversation on our morning radio show. Are you aware that without the movie Rudy, and I know your feelings about Rudy and Notre Dame, without the movie Rudy, there might not be any Iron Man or any Marvel universe at all? Are you aware of that fact, Lofa Tatupu?
Favreau and Vaughn teaming up there?
That's right. That's where they met, on the set of Rudy. Then they do Swingers. Favreau gets recognized as a director, yada, 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 on down the line. He directs Iron Man and then Marvel Universe and da-da-da. So thank you, Notre Dame and Rudy Rudiger. Isn't that what you want to say, Lofa?
No, I want to thank Hollywood, the actors, everyone that made it come to life.
Uh-huh.
Rudy was offsides. I've said that before.
Oh, shots fired.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
But that, I really believe those two, they were meant to meet up anyways. They would have found a way to bring us Swingers and all the other great movies they have. So, Made is a classic.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They would have found a way to make it happen.
Hey, speaking of offsides, we're going to have to talk about this game.
Yeah.
Before we do, though, officially start the show, just a word from you on what it was like to be back at Lumen with the fans and all of that kind of stuff, because you were there in person.
Oh, that was incredible, man.
Let's start with the positive, then we'll start the show.
Yeah.
All the negative.
I mean, it was rocking. It was loud.
Yeah.
The 12 showed up in full force. Things felt back to normal for a little bit there. And it was incredible. And I mean, a beautiful day. And we started off hot.
Yeah,
and then we'll get to the rest.
Did it feel as loud as the old days? Because on TV it didn't feel as loud. I gotta say, on the broadcast, maybe that was just the CBS broadcast, but
yeah,
was it as loud?
Yeah, it was. It was probably just the broadcast. It was loud, man. And I mean, you could see that it was really having an effect on the game. Whereas opposed to last year when everyone could get to a perfect play because they knew the defense and there was no noise, right?
Yeah.
So you saw it give them some troubles trying to adjust and get to they had to go to hand signals, and even every time Henry would ask them, hey, what's the play? Running up to Tannehill. So it definitely different than last year.
Speaking of the broadcast, and our listeners can email us, seahawkspod@gmail.com. I don't like when the Seahawks are on CBS. You were at the game, so you didn't have to worry about it, but I was watching on TV and CBS coverage is just not as good. I don't know. The announcers weren't as good, and they don't do enough replays. There was a lot of weird, tricky, like the Julio Jones thing. They played a bunch, but there were other times where there'd be a penalty or something, and they wouldn't play it. And then also they jinxed our Seahawks about 1 million times. I don't know.
Did they? What they say?
Bro, they started the broadcast by saying, the Seahawks have the longest active home opening winning streak in the NFL. It stands at 12 games. They're going for their 13th. Russell Wilson will be going for his landmark 100th win today also. I was like, oh, there's 2 jinxes in a row. Then they put up a graphic showing Russ cooking in the first quarter with him flipping burgers, and they're talking about Russ cooking. And I was like, dude, from the first quarter, I was like, this is going well, but we're doomed. I can just tell. And it's CBS's fault.
They threw the whammy on us, huh?
They did. They did. All right. That out of the way. Do you want to start the show? Show?
Let's do it, brother. Let's do it.
All right. Hit the theme song.
Let's get this crowd going now. Come on. Get him up. Get him up. Get him up. Hawks on 3. 1, 2, 3.
Lofa Tatupu is up in the mix.
Go Hawks.
I'm just about that action, boss.
Takes the snap. He's going to throw down the middle. What a catch!
It's intercepted by Lofa Tatupu.
Holy catfish!
Hey, that's great football now.
It's going to work now. Keep playing.
Who's got my back?
I got your back. That's Lofa.
We're playing.
Trouble playing. Thunder. On 1 ready. Play.
Russell looking. Russell scrambling. Pump faking. Still looking. Now he spins out.
We got to fly, baby.
40 down the far sideline. He's still moving. He's going to go. 20, 10. They do it again. Touchdown! 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 Seahawks!
Seahawks podcast on the Believe Sports Network. I'm lifelong Seahawk fan Brett Davern, and he is Seahawks All-Pro legend linebacker Lofa Tatupu. What's up, buddy?
Hey, man. It's going to be okay.
All right,
I'm here for you.
We're going to get through this together, everybody. You guys can email us anytime at seahawkspod@gmail.com. Follow us on social media at Believe in Seahawks. Also, on our social media, we are going to be doing something all season long. We're doing a giveaway. It's a challenge. It's a contest. It's a raffle, sort of. It's the final score prediction challenge. Intern Brian, our social media guy, will be putting up a graphic on Instagram or something like that. So you got to be following us over there. And he will ask for you guys to predict the final score of the upcoming Seahawks game, whichever one it is. And if you nail it in our comment section on Instagram, if you are correct, right on the number, we will buy you a bona fide, authentic Seahawks jersey of your choosing, even a custom one. If someone nails it, Lofa, I'll pay for them to put whatever they want on the back of it. Our gift to you from the Seahawks podcast here on the Believe Sports Network.
I just know we're going to be giving away 16 jerseys now.
Dude, our listeners are smart, man. But like, this is
15. There's 15 left.
Listen, how many times have we predicted games? We haven't got one right yet, but our listeners.
Yeah, that's we've not even come. Well, I came close last week. I think I had the teams flipped. You came very close, but we'll see how people do out there. And look, we'll try that. We'll try it this week, and if it costs us a fortune, we won't ever do it again. Like 10 people. 10 people hit this in the first week.
Yahtzee. Uh-oh. Yeah, we'll see what happens. But anyway.
Very cool. That's cool.
On today's episode of the Seahawks podcast, guys, the Seahawks forgot that there are two halves to a football game, and I'm pissed. And we'll see what Lofa has to say. But before we get into all of that, speaking of paying for this thing, BetOnline.ag, our wonderful sponsor, they are back and better than ever. All eyes are on the gridiron as teams go back for another football season. And as always, BetOnline is your number one spot for the pro and college football action this season. They got all kinds of, obviously they got all the odds for you guys over there, but they got over-unders, prop bets, different contests. BetOnline is the number one source for everything football. Head to their website or use your mobile device to sign up for their app today and receive are you ready for this? Drum roll, everybody. That's a one-handed drum roll because I'm holding it. Thank you, producer Katie. A 100% welcome bonus when you use our promo code LOFA.
Believe, BLEAV.
Oh, no. Wait a second. Stop the show, everybody. The promo code LOFA, and I'm so sorry because I left you hanging on this. Not prepare you. I apologize. The promo code is actually NFL 100. NFL 100. I'm sorry, my man.
I guess I just got fired from my job.
Bro. No, you're fine, dude. It was my fault. It was my fault. I didn't bring it to the film session. I didn't bring it to the meeting room. I'm sorry. It's my bad. I didn't prepare. Separation from the preparation, man. I'm sorry. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right. Lofa, the Seahawks lose the home opener to the Titans 33-0. There are losses, and then there are losses, and this one sucked. I think a lot of fans think, I've been watching Twitter, man. People are freaking out. People think this can cost us more than one game. I mean, dude, that was a choke. Man, I'm sorry. I think a lot of our darkest fears about this team were realized in one game. I'm on the edge, Lofa. What are your thoughts? And are you going to save me or are you with me?
No, man, there was a lot of good to be seen in that game, right? Now, how it ended, I'm just saying that offense.
I'm here for it.
Yeah. Offense over 30 points. Defense was strong. They did get worn down, right? And, so just the thing that I can't get over is the penalties, and we'll get to it, right?
Yeah, we're going to get there, man. But in general, come on, man. That was a choke. That was a choke. You're up by 15 at halftime. Lowfoot, the Tupu. Come on, man.
I give the Titans credit, right?
Okay. Right.
But I will say maybe we helped them out a little more than they did to actually win the game themselves, right?
Okay.
I'm not going to say we choked.
Okay. Well,
I'm not going to agree that we choked.
Listen, for my money, man, if you take a 15-point lead into the halftime locker room, I mean, this is the worst loss after a lead like that at halftime since like 2004 or something like that. I think I read.
I think we were 50,
when they're up like that at halftime, they usually
52-0, and so now we are 52-1.
I mean, yuck. So let's get into specifics, though. Russell Wilson and offensive coordinator Shane Waldron, like I said, CBS wanted to say Russ cooking and all of that, and they were not cooking on Sunday, at least in the second half. Russ's numbers were good, man. Like fantasy football wise, stats wise, if you look at Russell's stat line, 22 of 31 for 343 and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions, you'd think that's a Seahawk win, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. And Russ balled. Let's not
the first half.
The whole game. So I understand, how it ended, the overtime and, the fourth, but he barely had the ball, and so that's also something that, we got to get off the field on defense. And, but I don't know, as a defender, we always took, if the offense gave us 17 or more points, we always blamed ourselves for the loss. And I know that's, what guys like Bobby and, they're taking the loss upon them. But there's no finger pointing going on. It's just that's something that you internally, you're like, man, offense did enough. They put up enough points. And, we just got to get off the field is how I would look at it if I was a defender.
Look, I mean, maybe there's no finger pointing in the locker room, and that's a good thing. But here on the radio show, look, we got the footage of it. There's the deep ball to Tyler Lockett, right? Let's look at that first of all. Let's take a deep breath for a second, because there were some amazing throws. Like I said, especially the first half. I mean, Russell was on fire.
Yeah. Let's zone in on this.
Yeah, let's check it out here.
We going?
No, the most active head coach.
Okay, here we go. So. Take us through this.
First and 10 midfield. You got the play action right there. Holds the middle. Yeah, this is the one over the shoulder. And I mean, coming down with that, if that ball is actually led just a little more in front, that's a touchdown. That's how behind the coverage he was.
Yeah, this is the first big throw.
And then this is him. He gets off Scott-free, gets right into his route, stacks the defender. Like the guy doesn't even have a chance other than the fact that he has to slow down for the ball. So, this is what. Is that Carson in the backfield? He can hold that second level, and put all the pressure on the safeties where it's like, okay, I have no underneath help. So if Tyler Lockett catches that in front of me, I still have to make an open field tackle. And that's incredibly hard to do, as we saw from his other pass when he split the two defenders.
You can almost hear this safety here. I don't know I can't see who that is, 30 there. You can almost hear his inner monologue. She's like, as Tyler's running at him, he's like, oh shit.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
Where's he going to go?
Yeah, and no, stop.
That's Tyler's choice there, right? Does he have a two-way go on that, you think?
Well, you see Byard right here trailing. I got to believe that Byard started initially inside, so they're going to put that ball outside the numbers, and that's why I wouldn't really call this an over or underthrown ball or anything. He's just throwing it away from where the help was. It was right there next to him, and so the sideline, you're just trying to keep it inbounds and let Tyler go track it down.
Well, okay, I mean, obviously that's a great play, and it calms you down a little bit, but it was almost like the offense would score too quickly on these like long bombs and these open plays, and then put the defense right back out there. And it's like you were saying, the defense got worn down, and I bring up Russ's stats, and he's got the big yards, and we had a lot of huge plays, but it's like almost maybe too good sometimes. Like,
Well,
the
damned if you do,
like,
damned
I'd
if
rather
you
have
don't.
them hold the ball for 6 minutes there rather than scoring.
No, and then not score? No, there's no such thing
no,
as scoring too quickly.
Bro, I'm just saying that in
And I'm
terms
just
of
saying.
how often the defense had to go out there, you don't think that was a factor in the game? Just sort of the serendipity of how fast the offense would score sometimes? It was weird. We were scoring like every 2 seconds, but for some reason we lost the damn game.
Well, if that's a problem, it's a good problem to have. And so what I'm saying is, as a defender, I'm going out there and I'm going to get off the field.
How about
You know?
the 3 and outs in the second half, though? Come on, we got to get into the second half because in the second half, the offense took I don't know what happened in the second half of the offense.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look, and this was something I was concerned about when we played the Colts. The defense was out there for 73 or 74 plays. We were out there for 82 this time. Now, it goes hand in hand with we need some offense, like you're saying, like, oh, did they score too quick? You can't score too quick. We scored. You know how hard it is to score in the NFL?
Dude.
So as a defender, we have to stop them. And this is where,
I'm not saying we shouldn't score or anything like that. I don't want to get any emails from everybody out there going,
yeah.
oh, Brett thinks we shouldn't score. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that if you watch the game as a whole, the timing of when we scored allowed the Titans to keep running the ball and using their play action because they have a bunch of time left on the clock to do whatever the hell they want with it.
Very true. But yeah, they did. I think it was 23 or something rushes in the second half. It's like, but that's okay.
When you're down by 15, when do you see a team running the ball down by 15?
That's the sign of a very confident team if they believe that they can run the ball that long without the clock wearing out. So that also goes with, okay, we didn't get anything going on offense. Now, this is the only thing I was a little concerned of. Last week, we had a donut in the third quarter. We did outscore Indy in the fourth, 7-6. But, the ability to make an adjustment is something we have yet. It's only 2 games, so I'm not going to freak out. But the adjustments is something that we're going to need to see from Shane and that offense and Russ, going forward. Because, I mean.
Well, hold on. Let's talk about Russ there for a second. Because, look, dude, come on. The stats are awesome. He's our guy. But, look, Pete even called him out at the post-game press. Which Pete doesn't – he called him out a little bit. He flat said that he thought Russell Wilson should have taken the underneath quick throw to the back on the first play of overtime rather than trying to go deep to Tyler Lockett. I don't remember Pete really questioning Russell's decisions like that. And if you're asking me, I agree with Pete. Get yourself that 6-7 yards. Stay ahead of the chains. Why are we – dude, that overtime series from our offense was pathetic. And we almost lost the game on a safety. On a walk-off safety because Russell Wilson's retreating 17 yards in overtime when we finally get the ball back. The defense goes out there, does their job, gives you the ball back, and then that's what we get from our offense? Look at a picture of that.
So we're just going to dismiss the 2 other Dilfer dimes that Russ threw to Lockett on deep overs when the underneath was wide open?
He's the face of the franchise. The narrative is out there that if you give Russell Wilson the ball at the end, he's going to make magic with it, and that was not magic on Sunday. And I'm not just going to be a homer. I got to put it out.
I want to take it back to 2 series before overtime where, what did we run the ball 6 straight times? I mean, throw the ball 6 straight times. Where is the run game is the only concern for me.
Well, that's all. This is all part of my question. That's second half offense. What happened?
Well, why didn't, obviously we didn't really need it, but coming out of the third quarter, you would figure they'd go right to it to try to shorten the game, right? Even if you just run it 6 straight times those last 2 series, I don't know if they have enough time to come back at the very end. They're definitely not going to run the ball because they're worried about a running clock, right?
Well, what do you think about on the broadcast? One of the commentators said that the Seahawks or Russell Wilson or in their meetings leading up to that week, somebody said something about how Russell has the whole playbook at the line of scrimmage. Do you think Russell's checking out of runs to passes that become incomplete and they're leading to these 3 and outs? There's got to be some reason that they're not sticking with the run, and Pete seems frustrated. He wants to run the damn ball.
I don't know. I do have to go back and look because I don't remember those 6 plays completely. But just got to take some time off, and that's something that will be corrected if it is at his disposal, so to speak, the whole playbook at the line of scrimmage.
All right. Well, let's move on. What about DK Metcalf, man? A lot of questions being asked, a lot of articles being written. I mean, what happened to DK Metcalf on Sunday? He seemed a little too pumped up. Pete Carroll's quote, I'll find it for you. I mean, he just talks about how like it was hard for DK to find the flow of the game early. He thought he was too excited to, I don't know, something to prove, or I don't know what it was. What was up with DK on Sunday?
And taking a look back, like at the time, I didn't think anything of it, but just across the field, old number 11, AJ Brown, his best friend from college. Right. Those are the two of the best in the NFL right now. And Julio's right there too, another guy that these guys look up to. So I wonder if there was something in terms of pressure because, DK didn't look like himself, but AJ Brown dropped like 3 that he never drops.
Yeah, absolutely. Right? It just felt like, I mean, look, it's the home opener. They're pumped to play in front of the 12s. It's loud in there. I totally get it. But for DK, it's like, sometimes with him in these big games, I feel like, and this happened last year and it has happened to him before, where like if he's going against like Jalen Ramsey, for example, remember? Like people try to get in his head and I think he kind of lets him a little bit. And it's kind of frustrating as a fan because it's like, dude, everyone wants to take a swing at the biggest guy in the bar, And DK Metcalf is the biggest guy in the bar all the time. And he's getting everybody's best shot. And, he puts himself out there. He's got the dyed hair and he wears the crop tops and the pictures of him with the muscles. And you know what I mean? Like, so he kind of makes himself that target, but then he lets them get in his head and it doesn't lead to his best games.
No. And I don't know. I think that's something, he'll find though. Cause it's just, first of all, we're not allowed to be taunting, right? We'll get to that, but
right. Yeah, we're going to get to the referee.
Yeah. But I think maybe he put a little too much pressure on himself. That was just very uncharacteristic. Him and AJ, especially. Like, I've never seen him drop that many passes.
Yeah, he said, Pete Carroll, I got the quote here. He said about DK, he said, I think he was trying really hard early. It happened in both games where he was really trying to find tempo and be competitive and find the competitive makeup of the game. He needed to calm down a little bit. He was a little trying too hard. He was just really working hard. I mean, really working hard. And sometimes it goes too hard. That's such a Pete Carroll quote.
Oh, my God.
But Pete agrees with me, I think. DK needs to calm down a little bit. And, man, I mean, look, it's his, third year in the league, right? And DK is great. We love DK. But, dude, let's go put in some big monster games and big monster numbers and, play like an all-pro before we just start acting like an all-pro all of the time. And, like, let's not get into these physical stuff on the sidelines and getting flags and unnecessary penalties and holding calls. And let's just go out and set monster receiving number games. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I'll get back to it. It's early.
All right. Well, that's my bit on DK. How about Chris Carson, dude? Because here's where we talk about running the rock. Yeah. Only 13 carries for 31 yards. And I think that headline right there says it all. WTF, man.
I'm with you on that one. That is an absolute weapon, amongst the best in the league. And I believe he's 15 to 20 touches minimum a game. I think that is the recipe for success. And that is what opens up all the throws to DK and Lockett. And so 13 carries, I don't know how many, he's dangerous out of the backfield as a receiver. So he needs to be more involved.
He didn't get enough of those, in my opinion. We have to watch Tennessee dump it off over the middle dude, it kills the Seahawks. I don't know why that kills us all the time. But why can't we do that? I don't understand.
I don't know. I'll write into Shane and see what's going on.
Right in, man. Well, and also Alex Collins, man. I mean, one carry and he gets it
30 yards or whatever.
Never hand it to him again.
Nah, they'll be expecting it. Let's not hand him the ball ever again. No, but that's what drove me nuts. Is like, okay, try to mix it up and give him some runs. Like, because that would eat up at least 2 minutes of clock in those 2 drives.
Yeah,
and or waste some timeouts. And I promise you, they don't keep running it because they're going to take some shots because they're like, all right, we got to score one quick. And the fact that they were able to hit a 60-yarder was what, made them confident. Like, all right, let's stick with it. Let's just keep grinding and wearing them down.
Yeah. We got to run the ball more, man. I know you agree. If you haven't heard, balance is a good thing, like running the ball and passing the ball. Let's talk about our friends at Balance 7. This is like an opportune time. Thank you, my friend. Balance7.com is where you go to get Balance 7. Use our promo code.
Did it change or is it the same?
It's the same.
Believe, BLEAV.
Yeah, to get $10 off their 32-ounce bottle. The bottle lasts 11 days, which is the perfect amount of time to start feeling the pH balancing work. That's the thing. Like, you got to give this thing some time to help balance out your system, get rid of the alkaline, the acid, and all that. Get your pH in balance, man. It's balance7.com. Use our promo code. It worked for us. It can work for you too. Balance7.com. All right. Seahawks had it 4th and 1. Then Jay jumped off sides. My question, Lofa, if you're going to go for it on 4th and 1, to keep the ball, to put the game away, to take more time off the clock, why not just go for it on 4th and 5? You got Russell Wilson.
Oh, no, because that's 4 more yards than you needed. And that's like, I don't know. We have to check analytics on that, but I don't know how much harder it is to get that.
Look, I understand that it's harder. I'm just saying you pick up that first down there and you basically put the game away the same way Baltimore did to the Chiefs that night. I know theirs was a 4th and 1. Ours became a 4th and 5. You could talk about that if you want to. But I'm just kind of saying, like, you cannot give the ball back to these teams and then play in these prevent defenses and hope to win games late. It drives me insane. And I know it's not exactly a prevent defense, but you know what I mean.
Not with that attitude, Brett.
But buddy, you got to be able to pick up a 4th and 5. Come on. DK
I'm going to let you take this one.
From the slot.
I'm going to let you take this one.
What about the tight ends? Where was Gerald Everett? Where have all the tight ends gone?
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
Dissily, where are they?
All right. What happened on that 4th and 1? Talk to me about it.
I don't know, man. Who knows? Someone got off sides. What are you gonna do now? When it's so much harder to get 4th and 5. Like and so I'm not mad at what went down, and it is what it is, man. You live to play another day. We had another opportunity.
How do you jump off sides on offense on 4th and 1 late in the game?
Now that is more the, can we prevent this going forward? Because I don't know. I don't know. Like, as a paid professional, to do something as, I'm not going to say easy in the heat of the battle, but what should be easy, stay on sides, not get a penalty. I don't know how that happens. Well,
it leads me to talk about other bad penalties. Which one was your least favorite?
Oh, now here we go, because I hated them all.
Who's from?
This is when I was a player or as a coach. This is what really pissed me off, was just unnecessary. We had 10 for 100. The taunting, I didn't think was terrible. Like, he got to be flexed.
The DJ Reed?
Yeah, I didn't think that was terrible. There's some jarring going back and forth, people talking trash, but they're going too far with that.
Dude, it wasn't terrible by DJ Reed, but it was a terrible penalty at a terrible time, and
extended the drive.
Call.
Yeah,
a terrible call in our opinion. Obviously, we're on the Seahawks side, but dude, you sent a letter from the league that says that this is a point of emphasis this year. Knock it off, everybody. Seahawks, are you going to get one of these a game and cost the team 15 yards? Stop it.
The ones that really grinded my gears, though. So coming around the corner, I didn't think Jamal, they were so quick. It was bang, bang. I don't think his roughing the passer was that bad. But if they call it, it was a penalty, right? But I thought
it was helmet to helmet. It was helmet to helmet.
And I thought when Nkemdiche came around on his roughing the passer, I thought more like not only the hit, it was a hard hit, and it was up towards the head, but also he kind of like stood over him. I thought he was going to get a taunting on top of that.
I thought so too.
I was like, oh man, just back up. But
yeah.
But the one that was really hard to take was my man Jordan Brooks on the tight end. Guy catches it. I don't know. Maybe the guy gave him a stiff arm and he lost sight of where they were on the field. That is a realistic possibility. But at some point, when you hear your coaches or you see you're running into a crowd of people, it's not the pile at the line of scrimmage. And that's where it's like, dude, there's at least 3 yards out of bounds. Like, at some point you just got to pull up.
Yeah.
So that one, which extended a drive.
And then he got pulled the next
He got sat.
series. Yeah.
They benched him. And this is something that Pete hasn't done in the past. So,
yeah, that one was the one Pete really concentrated on in his words after the game and stuff. And was that penalty. That one, I think, is the one that made him the most upset.
Yeah. I mean, well, that's not a bang, bang thing. That's like drawn out. Mm-hmm. People on the sideline are yelling, all right, hold up. Like, hold him up. Like, don't throw him down.
Yeah.
So it's like the fact that he still did it is kind of like mind boggling. Like, we're just like, wait a minute. Like,
I have to, though, be the kind of get off my lawn old school football fan for a second, too, and just kind of say, like, what's going on with the NFL a little bit? Like, I understand all about player safety. Everybody's making big money and big contracts, but there's all the new stuff, which I didn't really realize was going on about the once you get outside the tackle box, there's no more cutting the linemen and stuff.
Or outside in, yeah.
Can you talk about how that's changed the game a little? Because I didn't even realize this was happening. And not like I want anyone cut at the knees and hurt and all that, but it's just really changed the game, and I didn't really realize this was happening.
I mean, they keep coming up with new ways to play football. And it's like, there's like several ways. It was acceptable before. I mean, I had a guy throw at my knees and the other guy come from over the top, like it hit me from the other direction in the head. And I mean, it was like, so like, I understand that, but just a cut block, it's, I welcome the cut block because I could get off of it pretty easily. Well,
and the other way too, where the DBs and stuff, the DBs are having to stand up against, Dwayne Brown pulling around the outside. It's a little, I don't know. It's made the screen game. Like, look at how effective that was against us. Tennessee rain and stuff.
Tennessee's always been a good screen team, but I know what you're saying. If the big guys don't even have to worry about the secondary coming and cutting them, because that's what, especially when they pull 2 and 3 guys around the corner, you can go take out 2 guys, just split the middle of that wedge, and then now you're going to get a guy or 2 guys on defense to tackle the running back by himself.
Yeah. It's changed it up. I don't know. And the taunting thing, the unsportsmanlike, the emphasis on that. Far be it from me, but can I just say, like, these penalties that have nothing to do with football drive me insane. Like, if a guy gets up and throws a ball at a guy or spits in a guy's face or, kicks someone or whatever, we all know what unsportsmanlike and whatever is.
Yeah.
Getting up and quickly yelling like, oh yeah, as you like,
flex.
Give me a break. That was not egregious.
You're not always in your right mind when you're out there playing.
I'm sick of
trying to tackle a guy 20 miles an hour. Like, you're not always rationally thinking.
I don't want to see non-football stuff decide football games. It drives me
Absolutely.
Kills me. Let's talk about the one bright spot, though, for me, or one of the biggest bright spots is our guy Tyler Lockett. We'll just go back to it again. Can we just see it again?
I wish we had the other clip.
Because Tyler Lockett, I mean, he's just already having a season. Forget about Russ cooking. We need to bury that thing anyway. It's been a jinx for a while now. Let's get rid of it. I'm sick of the national media talking about it. Tyler Lockett is cooking. He's the man. 8 receptions, 178 yards, 1 TD. There's this pass again.
The other one, and I'll just talk you through the other one. He runs this very similar route, a deep over where the corner's got to stay with him all the way across. The safety came over to help, so Russ does have to squeeze the ball underneath and in between the 2 coverages. And while he beats the corner, he knows the safety's coming over the top to just make the hit. He catches the ball, and I talked about his spatial awareness. So the whole time he's looking for the ball, that guy's got a chance to hit him. And as soon as he catches it, he puts the brakes on and backpedals. I don't think I've ever seen anybody do that. Just starts backpedaling, and these 2 defenders crash over the top and allows him to go another 30 yards for the touchdown. It's absolutely insane.
Well, we've talked about how his kind of like mild-manneredness might not get him the sort of like publicity and like national attention that he should get. But, man, he is like as good as any wide receiver in the NFL, if not better. We're so lucky to have Tyler Lockett. I love Tyler Lockett.
Absolutely.
Back to the live reads, my man. Play Action Sports. Exciting news. Our podcast is partnering with PlayActionPools.com this season to bring some interactive fun to the sport we love the most. This is about office pools, everybody. If you've got office pools, PlayActionPools.com is where you want to go to set them all up. You can also join our office pool, so to speak, that we got going on around here at Believe. Just find the Believe football pick'em. It's free to join, and you can win electric sunglasses or a pair of DC shoes each week if you win at the Believe football pick'em at playactionpools.com. So check us out over there, playactionpools.com, your new home for all of your office sports pools. Another bright spot, and we'll get to the defense because we've been talking too much offense. Bobby Wagner, 16 tackles, 4 assists, and 1 monster of a sack. I know we have the video of that. We can get that up and running as you talk about our man Bob.
Hey, man,
Right?
man.
Yeah, 20 tackles. I mean, franchise record, which I don't know if anybody know. He just only beat his own franchise record of 19. So kudos to my man, Bobby. Is that? Oh, it's at the end of this.
We're talking about the play is probably at the end.
And I mean, just a true pro in his press conference. You know, they're like, "Hey, Bobby, you broke a franchise record," which I doubt he even knew it was his own, but I did. And so he goes, "Yeah, but we lost." And so that's where, you know, I'm saying the mentality of this team. Oh, there he is, and you don't get to see it, but he comes screaming off a stunt and huge third down, forced a field goal. Really got the
perfectly.
Yeah. You know, thank God we didn't get a taunting penalty, right? He flexed those guns, right?
Well, but yeah, but he's running the other way. I think Bobby Wagner can do almost anything he wants, I would imagine. But
that third down pass breakup right there was incredible too.
Can I ask you though, Bobby? He's the captain, right? Mm-hmm. Captain of the defense. So we talk about some of these silly penalties. Mm-hmm. What do you do as a captain when these kinds of things happen? Is there anything behind the scenes that goes on?
Yeah, I mean, you encourage them to, you know, try to play a little smarter before you really get after them. And, you know, like, you got to find out, is this a problem? Is this guy a serial taunter? You know, is he a serial holder? I think it's like you find that out. And then, of course, like, you know, the powers that be, like but you talk to him as a captain, as a leader, and you just encourage him, hey, man, you know, don't worry, get to the next play. You know, let's just get out of this game. And then, you know, Pete will step in and do something, as he did, like I said, when he sat Brooks for a series or two and put Barton in. I'm
just wondering if there's anything that happens after the game, though, like during practice the next week. Is there any like, hey, man, let's try to not get so many flags? Is it a room thing?
We go over in the team meeting room. Pete will put up, hey, 10 penalties, like, and then like they'll keep a running tally of penalties, what penalties were committed, who committed them, just those things that kind of like, so we can, you know, just keeps us all accountable.
Yeah. What about we got to move on here to Trey Flowers. What to do about Trey Flowers, man? Much respect. He's an NFL professional athlete. You know, he's accomplished things that I could only dream of. But dude, it's kind of become a liability out there, hasn't it? A little bit, him at corner. And what are we going to do?
I mean, it kind of has, and I feel bad because I know how difficult it is to play in the National Football League, and you know, you just wonder, how is his confidence doing? Like, because I mean, he is a great athlete. He's there every step of the way, but at the moment of impact or the moment of truth, as we used to call it, when a play needs to be made, it's the other guy catching the ball, and so you wonder, and then even. Unfortunately, I think that might have even been him on the long run. You know, it's tough to ask anybody to step in front of that train called Derrick Henry. But
yeah.
I believe that was him that was supposed to pin the hip.
Yeah. In real time while watching the game at 2:10 p.m., I texted you Trey Flowers. At 2:36 p.m., I texted you Trey Flowers. I just texted his name. At 3:17 p.m., I texted Trey Flowers, and then at 3:57 p.m., I texted you Trey Flowers, parentheses, Henry run. So, like, just in real time while watching the game, it was just like every time something would happen, it was like, oh, no, there he is again. And like you said, I feel for him, you know, and he knows all eyes are on him, but it just we picked up Sidney Jones, picked up Les Austin. I mean, time to give one of those other guys a chance.
Yeah, I think they're just getting them caught up to speed and, you know, depending on – I don't know if it was like maybe a COVID protocol or what, that they're just getting them in the building and, you know, before they just throw them out there and say, hey, you know, go play cover 3, go play, you know, man coverage. So,
well, let's talk about that Henry run for a second. Speaking of Trey Flowers, because I mean, Dude, we were great against Derrick Henry in the first half. He had like 30-something yards and everything was going great. And then he just went off in the second half.
Yeah.
They were down 15. They continued running it. A total offense, we gave up 538 yards total.
Yeah.
But we gave up 212 yards
12 on the ground.
rushing to the whole team, of course. But Derrick Henry had the lion's share of that. And that big monster run, I think we have the clip of it. And you'll see Trey Flowers.
So here it is. They're all down on the line of scrimmage. There's that stick defense where we got everybody at the line of scrimmage. So he doesn't need much daylight to find a crease. But I believe it was Taylor that dove into the backfield. And when, it declares that easy, we'll see it again when it loops again. So when he makes it bubble, and when I say bubble, that Derrick's got to go around the top, because it's a hand back. They fake right, he comes back over the top left. And when he stutters his feet, that is the only time that you see pinning the hip right here. You got to take his legs out right there, like 3 yards deep in the backfield. And, if you're pinning the hip and you're getting there, pinning the hip just means closing the space. Then you're going to get a tackle for loss. And as routine as that is, this guy, I don't think people appreciate at 245, 250 pounds, he has home run speed. I haven't seen many people catch this guy. And this is one of our best tacklers, Diggs. Almost didn't get a hand on him, know? So,
and people were taking bad angles at him all day. I mean, you got to give credit to Derrick Henry, but Jamal Adams took a bad angle every once in a while, would get too far up the field. And, Henry, he's what can you say? He's an all-pro and a Pro Bowler and an all-world running back for a reason,
He is incredible. And I didn't realize he was as quick as he is and fast. Like, just that move right there. Like I said, that, it's a corner that, if that's anybody else, he closes the speed. He makes the tackle for a loss. But it's Derrick Henry, and he's that quick.
How many yards rushing do you think the Seahawks had as a team?
Oh.
The Titans had 212. What do you think the Seahawks had?
50.
77.
Oh, okay. Pleasantly surprised then, because I didn't think we had that.
25 of it was Alex Collins on one run.
A 25-yard average. And
oh man, ridiculous!
Let's put him on the bench.
Here's another stat from producer Kate. 160 of 182 of Derrick Henry's total yards were after contact.
Oh my God!
160 of 182.
That's insane. 160 after contact.
160 yards after a Seahawk hit him. Guys,
how sore does that guy got to be? I mean,
dude, the times where he was stopped immediately must have been when Bobby Wagner hit him, because if anyone else hit him, he was bouncing off and running right into the end zone.
Oh my God, that's incredible. That's an insane stat right there.
Looking around the rest of the NFC West here, let's move on and just check it out. Look, the NFC West went 3-1 last weekend. We were the only loss. Last place. Everybody else won. It's depressing.
Come on, man.
The Cardinals beat the Vikings on a last-second field goal that the Vikings missed. The Niners, they won. The Rams won again, and we didn't. So we're in last place after 2 weeks, and we're going to play the Vikings coming up next week. So.
So that was our look around the West.
Let's move to our Zone In segment. Zone In CBD, the best CBD in the game. It's Lofa's company, but it is the best. I mean, you'd go to their website, zoneincbd.com, sign up for the subscription, whether it's a tincture, a capsule, the what else you got? Creams?
Yeah, we have a topical.
Yes.
And then we have energy mix.
All kinds of stuff over there. And you can just sign up for the subscription. It shows up at your doorstep. You don't have to worry about it or think about reordering or anything. So zoneincbd.com. The promo code is still the same, Lofa, unless you've changed it.
I have not. Believe it or not, I have not. BLEAV.
Get 20% off at zoneincbd.com. Let's zone in on Lofa's alma mater quickly. Clay Helton out as head coach. The search for a head coach continues at USC. What do you got to say there, Trojan boy?
Man, Trojan man. I don't I don't know, man. I'm at a loss for words. We did have a strong performance against the Cougs after down 14-0.
Well, it's the Cougs. They couged.
Oh, wow. Okay, but you said they couged it. But then to come back and put 45 unanswered, that freshman quarterback looks, every bit the part when they were saying he's one of the best. And hopefully Slovis is okay.
Well, what did you think about when you heard the news of the Clay Helton firing?
Yeah, where was I? I forget where I was. I think I was at a golf tournament and just got like 20 or 30 text messages. And it's my thoughts are like, okay, not surprised, and I think who was it, Joe Klatt or somebody did a segment, and it was pretty much what he said summed up. He was like, it was always just good enough to retain your job, always good. And Clay Helton's like Joe said, one of the best, guys in the business in terms of not just offensive play call, but off the field as a human being. He's just a great man. And so your heart goes out to him for that. But, college football is better when SC is in the picture or somebody from the pack. But, I'm a little biased.
I agree. Even though I'm not I'm a Husky fan. Yeah, I agree. I mean, come on. USC is one of the blue bloods of college football for sure.
So, where do we go from here? We'll see. It was a very convincing win. I don't care if it was the Cougs, but it looked like there was a lot of restored energy and passion to that sideline. I mean, guys going nuts. This is a kid that hasn't had any snaps, and he's thrown into a game down 14-0 and comes away with a 45-14 victory. So that and the combination of coaching is pretty damn impressive. I don't care who you're playing.
Who do you want to see be the next coach?
Well, I wouldn't mind seeing Dante continue to get his chance, Dante Williams, and just see what he does, right? I don't think we should just right away start the search because we do have, maybe just a change at the top was needed, a different perspective or voice being heard in that meeting room could be more powerful, right? And so that first win was pretty convincing for me, especially going down on the road 14-0 in your debut, both the quarterback and the coach. And rallying the troops to come away with 45 unanswered, that was impressive. So, but if I had my choice, if it doesn't work out, which I hope it does with Dante, I hope he gets his real chance. Chris Richard, this is a guy that was there at Pete's first dynasty at SC, the start of it. Mm-hmm. Chris was the senior class that, carried the message, and then went to the NFL. He came back and coached several years with Pete at SC before jumping to the NFL, and then started the Legion of Boom.
Yep.
And, another 8 to 10 year stretch of dominance. Yep. And so I'm pretty sure he's zoned in on all his skills as a head coach, and he's just waiting for his opportunity. He's over in New Orleans right now, and I mean, I've played with him, coached with him. Guy's an unbelievable pro.
All right. Well, we'll see how things develop over there with the Trojans, but for now, that's a wrap on the Seahawks podcast, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Subscribe, comment, all that stuff. Check us out on our social media at Believe in Seahawks. We'll get into more about the final score prediction challenge that we're going to start over there on Instagram on the next episode this week, which will be the preview of the matchup versus the Vikings. So we'll see in a couple days for that episode of the podcast. Emails, SeahawksPod@gmail.com. Thanks to our sponsors, BetOnline, Balance 7, Play Action Pools, and Zone In CBD. Lofa, break us down.
Do we go fight on 3? Do I make you do that? Would you do that?
Dude,
would you?
Both? Listen, our Seahawks need to hear that.
Yeah, it was twofold, right? It wasn't just for my guys at SC.
I'm not putting 2 fingers in the air though.
You don't have to.
I don't know why you guys are always telling everyone you're number 2. It's still weird. I'm not going to do that, but I'll yell out the words if you want.
It's almost like the cheetah throwing up his peace sign when he's like, "Yo, y'all losers, I'm out." But here we go. Just put it up in the air. Whether you're a Trojan fan or, a Hawk fan, which this is a Hawk podcast, we do need to fight on right now because it's going to be okay. This guy's not fouling. We're going to do the damn thing this week. Fight on 3. 1, 2, 3. Fight on.
Seahawks.
And Trojan.